Hello everyone, my name is Misery. Welcome to episode 2 of Inside the Mind of a Masters Terran Player. Today we're going to be looking at a Terran versus Zerg game. It's a series in which I take you through some of my replays and give insight into my thought process, why I do the things that I do in a game, what triggers certain decisions, and what I could have done better. So, this is an opponent I play pretty regularly. His name's Inmolations. See him probably at least once or twice a day when I stream. So he's a pretty good Zerg player. I think he's usually around 4,700, 4,800 when we play. And a very aggressive player. So this was a pretty cool game. And I thought it would be really fun to take you through that. So let's get started. We'll start the game up. Throw on the music for the game. So Terran versus Zerg, I pretty much play this the same as far as openings go every time, regardless of who my opponent is. I'm always going to open up with the Reaper Expand, so good thing about that is you get some good scouting information. You can find out pretty easily with a 17 SCV scout whether or not you need to defend against a one-base play of any kind, whether it's roaches or a Baneling bust, or if he's going to play more standard with either pool first into hatch or hatch first into and then pool and go from there. But big thing is getting the Reaper out to expand and then or safely expand, get some scouting information, and then I like to go into lately it's been a Hellion Banshee play where you get 6 to 8 Hellions and a couple of cloaked Banshees, and then kind of get to that map pressure going. It's pretty safe with the Banshees. I like going Banshee lately because it keeps me safer against any Roach Ravager opening. You get a couple of Banshees out and they can't really do too much with that. So that's where we're gonna go with this game, and it helps with a lot of things. You can harass, you can keep map control, you can safely expand and take a third base. A lot of different things you can do. So my opponent right now, he pretty standard opening. He's going hatch first, then pool, then gas. Very normal. The SCV scout's gonna see that, and that means I'm gonna be able to send the Reaper across the map. I'm not gonna have to worry about a pool first. So that's one of the first decisions we make, is whether or not we're gonna keep the Reaper at home. If he's going pool first, sometimes they like to send some lings around a different way to avoid the Reaper to kill that SCV. And then it makes things a little harder if you send the Reaper across and he has a pool already finished. But the SCV sees that, I see that. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna tell that Reaper to go across instead of sitting at home. Let's zoom back out. There we go. And I guess the pathing on this is a little weird. He wanted to go around for some reason, but he should have been going straight down the middle. While he's going across, I always make sure that when I'm facing hatch first, I'll always send my 17 scout over to the third base location. Just makes things a little harder for the Zerg. He can't immediately take that third base, and the Reaper can get a little bit of harassment done before defending that third base location and harassing the drone trying to build there. Now, the idea behind this Reaper is just to scout, see if he can try and see if there's a roach swarm being built, see if he's going to try and take a third base. While that's happening, our Hellions are on the way, almost. We're just going to be as annoying as possible, kill a couple of Zerglings maybe. The whole time what I'm thinking here is, alright, this is pretty good damage, we're delaying him pretty well. Getting a couple of kills with the Reaper. He gets the third base down, but everything looks pretty normal so far. There's nothing that really scares me here, nothing that's got me thinking I need to change up the build order at all. So I want to get Hellions out, and then I want to get a couple of Cloaked Banshees out. And it's keeping this Reaper alive is really good right now. I can see what he's trying to go for. I don't know if I'll actually see it in this game. I think I missed the Roach Warren, so keeping it alive this long is awesome. You can see if he's going to get a Roach Warren. However, we don't actually see it. We only see a few speed Zerglings. So everything in my mind is business as usual. Third base, Zergling speed. None of this looks, like he's gonna do anything really scary to me. But in reality, he's got some roaches. I think in production, 6 roaches. So he's gonna go for a pressure attack, and I'm going to be caught off guard with it from the looks of things. But again, the Banshee helps in keeping us safe from this. So once the Banshee is out, it makes it very difficult for this to do a ton of damage unless I'm moving across the map. So here we go. He's sending a lot of Zerglings to the side, roaches straight down the middle. I'm just sitting here breaking rocks because, you know, it's pretty slow at this point. Here we go. I'm going to move across, so we'll pause right here. This is where I always make this my first decision. What I'm thinking here, I'll always wait until I have 4 to 6 Hellions before moving out. I don't like, because of this reason right here, a lot of players will put Zerglings aside for some sort of counterattack once they see you move out with the Hellions. So if you move out with only 2, then it's going to create a little bit of frustration in my natural expansion here. He's going to be able to get in before the wall is completed if I move out with 2 or 3 Hellions. Moving out with 6, usually the wall will be finished by then, or the Banshee will finish, which means I'll be pretty safe for the most part from any sort of counterattack. Now, in this case, the counterattack has a whole lot of roaches with it too. So, you know, I'm looking to do a Hellbat Banshee timing, and he's doing a timing of his own with no drones at his third base. So I'm still pretty off guard here. I don't know what he's doing. He knows what I'm moving out with, so right now he's got the upper hand with this counterattack. It's going to do some pretty good damage because I'm just going to completely bypass these roaches. So here we go. The Banshee comes out, and it looks like I move out with the Banshee as well to go and try and attack his third base. And here he comes in with the first roaches. These guys are morphing into Hellbats, so there's pretty much no chance that they can come back home. And here he comes in. Now he's got Ravagers, Lings, Roaches, all at my natural base, and I am just killing. I'm thinking this whole time, all right, if I can save half of these workers, even just half of them, and take out this third base and maybe some of his workers, I know with this unit count that he has, it's going to be hard for him to really jump ahead of me economically. Sure, he could drone up 2 bases, but he's only got 2 queens at home, and he's got nothing at the third base. So his larva count's going to be a little bit low. His economy is not crazy good. I'm actually ahead 11 workers. So even if I save half of them, and then I'm only down, say, 10 workers, 5 to 10 workers, that's not a bad spot for me with 2 orbitals. It's not terrible, and I'll have the tech advantage. So right away I'm thinking, all right, we're going to unzoom in. We're going to rally both our guys, our factory and our starport inside the wall. And I'm going to try and save as many workers as I can here. I'm going to mine for as long as I can and save as many as I can. So this is it. He's going to get into the main base. He's going to kill the workers at the natural. And here we go. He's going to get in. Now, this is pivotal here. Again, here's what we're thinking. This is taken out. Awesome. All right. So I'm going to want to pull these guys back home to try and come back into this now. We've got 1 Banshee out. We've got 2 Hellbats here. Again, if I can save half of these workers, and these Hellbats can kill... The Banshees can kill the Roaches, the Hellbats can kill a lot of Zerglings, and saving half these workers, having them repair these Hellbats would be huge. I think I could mount a comeback from that point. That's what I'm thinking here. If I can't save my workers here, if he kills like every single one of them, then it's pretty much game because he'll just tech to Mutalisk and we'll lose. But here we go. So we're going to go, we're zooming in. And these Hellbats are actually going to save so many workers because of the repair that the workers are doing on the Hellbats. The Banshees are doing their job against the Roaches. The Hellbats are doing their job against the Zerglings. And really, just like we were saying, we only lost half our workers. We're at 34, I think, or 36. Now we're at 17. Okay, we're at 14. Things could be a lot worse for us. This is really rough, but at this point I still think I can mount a comeback because I have so many units still. And he's got to rebuild his third base. He's got to rebuild his units so that he doesn't just die to 2 Banshees and 6, 7, 8 Hellbats. So, obviously not ideal. And but I still think I can get a comeback going here. So I'm moving across the map, trying to do as much damage as I can with these units. The Banshees are what are the most important. These need to stay alive so that I can keep pressure on his side of the map. The Hellbat's kind of a little more expendable. So here they go. Meanwhile, anytime I'm playing against a Zerg and he does like a big attack like that, if I survive, if I'm not totally dead, the goal is 3rd CC and then go into mech. Try to get into some sort of turtled position on 3 bases where you can maybe harass with little groups of units like this and then come back economically. Because if you do that, if you just go straight to bio, first off, my barracks is already floating. But even if it wasn't, you're not really gonna have you're not gonna have the money to make the production to be able to afford a lot of bio units, in my opinion. Whereas, one factory, 1 starport, maybe even a 2nd factory for cyclones, you can afford that pretty easily on 1 base with a couple of gases, and it's faster to get that out than to get stim, combat, +1/+1, reactors for 3 barracks. It's just a lot cheaper to start off with to get some mech units out, and I already had the armory, so I'll almost any time that I'm facing an aggressive Zerg like this, and he tries to bust me like this guy did, if I think I'm still in it, I'm gonna go for mech every time, just because there's a little bit more harassment potential with the Banshees, with Hellion run-bys, and it's a little bit cheaper and safer as well. I can get some tanks in position if I think he's gonna come for another attack. A few Cyclones should be able to defend against Mutalisks. Just makes things a little bit easier as far as coming back. If you try to come back with bio, or if I try to come back with bio in this game, I think I'm just dead because I don't have nearly the mineral income that I should have at this point to go bio. So here we go. We're going to try and do as much damage as we can. That's what I'm thinking right now. Do as much damage as I can. Kill the queens if we can. So the Hellbat's not really doing a lot. We're killing some roaches. The Banshees get a few worker kills here. But keeping these Banshees alive is what's really important, because now he wants to, now he wants to counterattack again. He wants to send his roaches out. But the Banshees are what are going to keep this from happening. They're going to keep the roaches at home, because now they can't hit anything. The roaches are too slow. They'll move out with some Zerglings back home. We still have a reactored factory. We're going to be fine. Lately, I've been really liking adding multiple Banshees in with my mech compositions. So that's what my plan to do here is to have like a Banshee hit squad of 4 to 6 Banshees ideally. That way they can, overpower a lot of queens pretty easily. And here we go. Like I said, 2 more factories coming down. I should be able to afford 2 Cyclones at a time and a couple of Hellions. And we're going to take our 3rd base location right here. Now, on his side of the map, he still hasn't taken his 3rd base. It looks like he's going to attack towards Mutalisks, like a lot of Zergs will do. When any Zerg that does an aggressive roach opening, if they do a lot of damage, their next thought is, I'm going to go Mutas, because he's not going to have the economy to defend against 5 to 10 Mutas. It's really easy to get 5 to 10 Mutas out, and if he does a lot of damage economically, it's hard to get missile turrets or multiple, stim marines with medevacs and all that stuff to deal with it. But here we go, growing mech. We're going to have some Cyclones out in time to deal with that just in case. Meanwhile, the 3rd's getting up, so I'm feeling like I'm in a pretty okay spot here. My economy isn't as terrible as it could have been after his big attack. We still have Banshees that are going around being annoying. And again, just trying to keep these Banshees alive for as long as possible. Do as much damage as we can. Even if we don't kill anything, he's using up all his queen energy, which is nice. He's got no inject in the main. He's going Mutalisk. And we're just keeping these guys alive and adding to the Banshee count. Meanwhile, the 3rd's getting put up. So everything's looking pretty good for me, actually, right now. Everything I'm thinking, all right, we can harass. We can send some Hellions around, Banshees around the other side. So here we go. Here's the Hellion run by. Now it gets a little bit of a worker pull, but we don't really kill anything with them. But the main damage now is looking at these workers here. We're able to pick off a whole bunch that well, not really a whole bunch. We get 3. 4 workers, not bad. So he's actually killed 28 of ours. We've killed 7 of his, but the worker count, he's only 7 workers or 10 workers ahead of us. And we're both on 3 bases, so everything's pointing towards us being in a pretty good position. You know, I'm getting my next factory. I'm a little supply blocked, which sucks. I never really rebuilt this wall, so... But I'm not really worried about any sort of counterattack by him now because I have this tech advantage. These mech units are better than roaches. He still hasn't built any mutilisks. He's not even trying to build mutilisks right now. I guess he realizes that I'm not in a terrible spot, so he's not going to go for that 10 mutalisk harass instead. He's going to go for an extra base and try to probably max out on roaches. And he's even actually getting corruptors because the Banshee's been so annoying. So corruptors kind of plays into this pretty well. We're going Cyclone Mech. Once you get a couple of tanks to defend the 3rd base, it's normal to get a nice Cyclone Hellion hit squad. They can move around the map. They're very mobile. And your base is pretty safe with a couple of tanks. Once you have 2 to 3 tanks and some... I've got, again, my 4 Banshee hit squad. There's not really a whole lot you can do counterattack-wise. He's going to have to worry about my Hellion Cyclone pretty soon, as well as the Banshee hit squad. So here we go, Hellion Cyclone moving out. I'm forgetting 2 Cyclones, which sucks. That kind of hurts a little bit. But the 4 Banshees are what's really nice, because now they're going to be able to start actually doing some pretty significant damage to his queens very quickly, or even the Ravagers, which are very expensive. So while he's chasing these around, it sucks he has a lot of units and he catches a lot of mine out, but now these Banshees are going to get a hatchery. And we still have our defensive position at home too. So we're almost baiting him into a bad attack here. This is because I've got the 3 tanks by the 3rd base, I've got units on the high ground, and now he's moving into a pretty bad attack for him. The Hellbats they're not really in great position, but now he loses all those units. He loses his 4th base. My 3rd base is still good. And the Banshees can come back and clean this up. He's going to kill some workers, but our production's pretty good. The Banshees are going to clean up any roaches coming across the map. I'm safe to take my 4th base, because really he's got nothing that can... He can't keep pushing here like this. We baited him into a pretty good attack, or a bad attack on his end. Good for us. Now the Banshees are able to clean up some creep. They can retreat now. He's going for Hydralisk tech, which, you know, that's pretty normal to go Roach Hydra against mech. It's not uncommon. But these keeping these Banshees alive was probably the best thing I could have done this game, because they've been very annoying for him. They forced out Corruptors, now they're forcing out Hydras. The Cyclones and Hellions can counter those all pretty good. We're able to keep the creep back and stay on even bases with the Zerg. So again, I'm thinking I'm in a pretty good spot. I want to attack pretty soon if we can keep trading or even like killing a lot of his army. This was a bad catch, or this was a good catch for him. So losing all these Cyclones really hurts me. He just got a very good surround on me there. So that weakens our composition quite a bit. We lost about 40 supply there. Never want to really see that with mech, but you know, is what it is. We're not perfect. Not every decision I make is the right decision. Just taking through what I'm thinking about. But again, we killed quite a bit of his units. All he has is Roach Zergling. They're not really upgraded. If we look at the upgrades, yeah, he's got +1 attack with the roaches, no carapace. So this is where, if we had that 40 supply of Cyclone Hellion that we just lost, we probably just roll him here when we move out with the tanks. This is where I kind of thought I can win the game, especially after seeing how small his army was when I did lose these units here. But yeah, definitely keeping the 40 supply or so that we lost, we would have just rolled them here with this push. So that's something where maybe I was trying to do too much with the units that I had, splitting them up, trying to pick off units and kill creep where I didn't really need to kill creep. So that's something I probably could have done a little bit better. So I'm thinking, here we go. let's try and attack at the third base location. We've got the counter to his roaches here with some tanks and some banshees. We're going to slow push this fourth location. While we're slow pushing, we've got banshees kind of wanting to attack the side there. And I'm going to rally everything at this point. So I'm thinking he's got very low amounts of units. If I just keep pushing with my mech rally, I've got 5 or 6 factories going. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 factories and a starport. I've got enough right now where I can keep rallying Hellion Cyclone or Hellion Cyclone Siege Tank and Banshee. If I keep rallying across and I have these units still sieged up, I should be able to win the fight, shut down the 4th base, and pretty much win the game now that my 4th base is on location and the 5th base is started. So he is going to clean up a couple of the tanks. We're cleaning up every queen. He's only got Hydra Ling left. I probably shouldn't have unsieged those tanks, but again, the Banshees are going to be able to clean up almost everything. He is cleaning up a lot of expensive units with just Zerglings, but again, these Banshees are just worth their weight in gold right now. He's got nothing that can hit them. All the queens are dead. So we're going to send the Banshees over to the 4th base that he hasn't put a spore at yet. And keep sieging up units and keep doing this kind of parade push across the map. Because now I know that he doesn't have his queens. There's definitely no Hydras still. He's bringing queens all the way from his main and natural actually to try and deal with this. And we just keep sending everything across. This isn't the best way, and we actually leave some of it here at home, which is kind of sad. But shutting down this 4th base wins us the game, I think. There it is. So, not the cleanest game. This was a very fun game, very, very fun comeback that we were doing. And I thought it would make a good episode too. So, there we go. That's the thought process of a Masters Terran in a pretty dicey game from start to finish. Mistakes made on both ends. A lot of things I could have done better, but fun game nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week for episode 3. Cheers.